On the night of Good Friday, April 14th, 1933, Hitler's SS headed straight for John Heartfield's Berlin studio. My grandfather, John Heartfield, was German, but Germany had become enemy territory. He was now a wanted man and forced to become a refugee. His only crime was his stubborn willingness to use his wit and considerable artistic talent to publicly push back against fascist and Nazi propaganda. And it had been less than 1 month since the enabling bill gave Adolf Hitler complete control of Germany, despite the fact that his party had won just 43.9% of the vote in the March 1933 federal election. Suddenly, the Nazis kicked in his door. He crashed through the windows of his French doors, and he fell to the street below. The SS were the enforcers of the new laws. They destroyed John Heartfield's studio, tearing apart his work because it brilliantly challenged their version of reality. He was desperate, so he crawled into an alley. Then he squeezed his short, thin body into a trash bin. The Nazis searched for him for hours, and they threatened anyone who might help him. Perhaps the SS, in their starched, immaculate uniforms, thought a man would rather die than hide in a trash bin. The Nazis finally gave up, believing that John Heartfield would never again try to insult the mighty Third Reich. But if those Nazi thugs had a clue what they had failed to accomplish that night, they would have tipped over every trash can in Berlin. My grandfather waited until he was sure they were gone. Then, with the help of supporters, he escaped from Berlin. It was a city where he had lived and worked as an artist for more than 15 years. One election had transformed Germany from a democracy to a country where anything not aligned with the Nazi Party was outlawed. My grandfather walked across the Sudeten Mountains to Czechoslovakia and then into Prague. He was a man without a country, and he had nothing. From 1930 to 1938, John Heartfield worked day and night to produce 240 full-page anti-fascist works of art. These photomontages were widely distributed on magazine covers, and many were smuggled into Germany. Iron makes the empire strong. Butter just makes people fat. Hurrah! There's no butter left. This 1934 photomontage was Heartfield's immediate response to Göring's fascist rhetoric. It highlights Heartfield's biting wit and his mastery of collage technique. Heartfield's German citizenship was annulled in 1934. Shadowed by the Gestapo in Prague, he continued to use his quick wit, scissors, paste, and graphic design genius to speak out against fascism and mock its advocates. Adolf the Superman swallows gold and spouts junk. John Heartfield warned of the Nazi thirst for war in 1932, but in 1938, Britain's Prime Minister said Nazi Germany promised peace in our time, while in America, Time magazine's Man of the Year was Adolf Hitler. Because my grandfather was gentle and deeply loved animals and nature, creating this photomontage must have been particularly emotional. John Heartfield's photomontages were hailed worldwide as artistic and political masterpieces. Nazi Germany demanded the Czech government take down a Prague exhibition of Heartfield's art. This is the salvation they bring. Voters who embraced fascism did suffer. In Germany, Italy, Spain, and Russia, every knock on your door could mean that the authorities had come to question you about words overheard by a neighbor. And within a few short years, those populations were decimated and their cities destroyed. When Nazi Germany invaded Czechoslovakia in 1938, John Heartfield was number 5 on the Gestapo's most wanted list. Once again, he had to run for his life. What made a young artist risk his life, using only words and images to show lies, intolerance, and injustice always end in misery. Heartfield expressed his thoughts and opinions with his art. He believed words and images were more effective weapons than clubs, guns, and bombs. Fascists tried to kill him for that, proving fascism is the opposite of freedom. Thank you for viewing Part 1 of Art as a Weapon. Please subscribe for more about John Heartfield's work and cinematic life story, including exclusive videos of my grandfather from my personal collection. Learn about his early years and how he created his most compelling pieces, including political masterpieces, groundbreaking dada with George Grosz, stage production with Bertolt Brecht, influential graphic design, and pioneering typography.